What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the way that I'm perceiving the market, some altcoin buying opportunities that I see right now and that I feel as though are coming up for me personally. And these are just my opinions, nothing more, nothing less, not professional financial advice, and not to be taken as financial advice either. So one of the things that I wanted to say right off the top is that majority, if I was to break down my portfolio, right? So you guys asked me a bunch of questions here on Twitter, right? A lot of these video ideas, the reason I ask questions on Twitter is to get ideas from you guys. And you guys, I read your comments. Also, I read your comments in the comments of these YouTube videos. So you guys were curious, how much of my portfolio is in Bitcoin? How much is in Litecoin? How much is in Ethereum? And altcoins. And I got to thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm going to share that information with you guys so you guys can get an idea of how I'm approaching this. And, you know, you guys all have your free will to approach it however you want and do your own research and get ideas from guys like me or Crypto Investor or Crypto Bobby or Ian Bellina or who knows, right? Superman. And when I'm looking at this, I found out about 50% of my portfolio is in Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. It would appear that a lot of my, it would appear that I'm actually pretty heavily stacked in Ethereum. And I didn't actually realize that because I got into Ethereum when I was really starting to get back into this market pretty serious back in June, July. But over time I had been buying even beyond that. But before that I had bought my first Bitcoin back in January of 2015 or 2016. I don't remember the exact year, although it does matter, but it was either 2 or 3 years ago. But that first time I bought Bitcoin, I got into mining. I wasn't into altcoins very much. I started to get into altcoins when I was approached about Ethereum in, I want to say around November, December of 2016. Yeah, November 2016 is when I first heard about Ethereum. And I remember it was trading at around about, I want to say, somewhere between like $5 and $10. And when my friend had told me about it, actually, when Matt had told me about it, who also does commenting or narrating on these videos, he told me, oh yeah, check the price of Ethereum. It's at about $300. I said, dang it. Why didn't I buy Ethereum, you know, when it was at like $5? Because I could have got a bunch of them. So I jumped into Ethereum after I did a lot of research on Vitalik and the project around June, July. And then that was when I really started to ramp up, and Ethereum was where I was ramping up. I wasn't really ramping up my Bitcoin position because I was cool with just one, right? But I was into mining. So over time, you know, I started to get into more and more altcoins, and Litecoin was one of them. Ripple was the other one. And so I got into those positions. I got into Litecoin when it was under 50. I got into Ripple when it was under 20 cents, thereabout. And I was bored with all of those positions, by the way, when I got into them, even Ethereum. But Ethereum, I took the long-term investment strategy that I had with the Bitcoin, with the mining, which was like, you know, I listened to the videos from I think his name is Rick Falkvenia, McAfee, and several other videos where people talked about, you know, Bitcoin being valued at $1 million one day. And so I said, well, I'll just hold this thing and wait and see if it goes there. You know, not saying, oh man, if it doesn't, that it's McAfee's fault or the person who got me into Bitcoin, it's their fault. No, I wasn't blaming anybody. I knew what I was getting myself into. And I basically wrote the money off as like, well, if I don't ever get this money back, then I don't ever get it back, you know? But it just kept going up. So then I decided to put more and more money into it. And then, you know, I watched that money grow. And, you know, so obviously, being in the situation that we're in here in January, February, it's been a little bit of a slow month with definitely some retracing happening, and people who came into the market are getting shaken down and shaken up, right? They don't know what to think of all this, right? And I don't blame them. But they're doing their research and they're hanging in there. Some of them have actually pulled out of their positions, and maybe they'll see. Hopefully, they didn't lose too much. I don't know, but we'll see. Only they know. Each individual has. I can't speak for everybody as a mass because everybody has their own financial situation that they've created. Now, if I'm looking at the market here, I'm analyzing it as a for opportunities. So I'm going to take you guys through that process. Number one thing, we know that Bitcoin dominance is at 39%, and that number is going up, right? So if we just take a look here, let's drill that down to the 16, see if it'll propagate. Nope. So we'll just have to move this. And let's take a look here. So you can see back in December, not too long ago, it was 66%, and it's been as low as 32%, right? So Bitcoin looks like it's starting to pump up again. So it's pulled down, pumped up, pulled down, pumped up, pulled down, pumped up. You know, that's what we see with Bitcoin dominance, right? And if we just look at the total market capitalization, you could see we're at $424 billion. But with all that being said, Bitcoin under 10,000 has always been my entry, my initial. So once it goes to 8, I like it again. And when it last dipped below, when it last dipped around 7,000, I bought here recently. So if we just look at some of the top positions, I've said I do like Ripple under $1. Although, I mean, as much as I don't really want to say this because I'm not so sure I'd be too happy if it went that low, but my next buying opportunity would be around 50 cents. But for people who've never gotten into Ripple, buying Ripple at this price is possibly considered a pretty good time to get in. Cardano, I would start looking at Cardano at under 30 cents. Let's see what else we have here. IOTA probably under $1. Although that's me personally, because this thing's kind of tail spinning. So if you were into IOTA, I don't know what where you took your profits, if you took your profits, or if you're still holding. But IOTA will have its time to rise back up again. I'm certain of that. At least that's what I think. So that's why I still hold all my IOTA that I got around the below 50 cent range back in October. I didn't sell any of it, so I'm still holding it. I would like to increase my position in IOTA, but I'm not going to consider doing that until under $1. But I'm speaking because I'm speaking to people who are not me. I have to balance my true forecast, my thoughts, with what I would do if I was also in your shoes or someone else's shoes. Now, outside of that, if I was to look at some other buying opportunities, I still like Icon. And I hold Icon that I got around $4 and something. But I actually get excited when I watch Icon continue to retrace. Now, I realize some of you guys might not like to hear that, but I'd like to see it revisit that 265 range to pick up more. But insiders are saying that by April we should start seeing a really strong market, but it could happen sooner, could happen later. It's just, you just got to be able to hold. I mean, in cryptocurrency, months feel like years. 6 months feels like years, right? Even if I look back to June when I was buying all that Ethereum, it feels like it was years ago. And then, oddly enough, when I bought my Bitcoin, it feels like it was 2 or 3 years ago. I want to say 2015 is when I bought it, but I don't know. I don't know why I can't remember that. But I don't think it matters. All right, so People have asked me to stop talking about electronium, so I'm not going to talk about electronium. Not that I'm scared to talk about it, I'm just not going to talk about it as much. Dragon Chain's really retraced. For me, when I first stepped into Dragon Chain, it was under 50 cents and it was on Ether Delta only. Now it's on so many more exchanges. I mean, is it even on Ether Delta anymore? It's weird. It used to only be on Ether Delta. I don't know. I have to check Ether Delta now. Makes me want to stop the video and go check Ether Delta. But that was where I got my first position in Dragon Chain. But to see it now down at 126, I mean, the crazy thing is these things might continue to retrace. I mean, there's a possibility that these will continue to dip even lower, because what we've been seeing over the last month is Bitcoin dominance going up and altcoins just kind of losing their momentum slowly but surely. So yeah, 50% of my portfolio is in Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. The other 50% is in alts. That means Ripple, Stellar, Cardano, and then some of these coins or tokens like Dragon Chain, PivX I hold, Redcoin I hold, Golem. Might have missed a couple in here. Digibyte, I have some Digibyte. I have some Ethos, iOS token, some CAN. No longer do I have Power Ledger. I have Chainlink, Salt, Syndicator, Vertcoin, QuantStamp. Kind of looking at these prices here to see what we got. Okay, Wax, that I do hold this, and that is amazing price for Wax, I think. I'm gonna have to confirm that. Let's take a look here at Wax. Remember, if people are saying that Wax is a jump coin or whatever, that's usually the time to get in. When people are saying, "Oh man, jump on that," that's time to sell. That's what I learned. I mean, about this last. I'm not going to say that I just learned that, but that's been re-emphasized for me. Is when there's a state of euphoria around any coin or anything, I basically say, okay, the opposite's going to happen, because that euphoria is an indication of a bubble pop. So when people are like kind of down and out is when I get into a position. Not because I'm looking to hurt people or anything. That's not my intention. I'm saying, like, if the market conditions or people are not excited about it, that means it's at a great buying opportunity. And anyone who holds Wax, like myself, I gotta hold it. Where can you get this? You can get it on Upbit, Bittrex, HitBTC. Bittrex is probably where. Wow, man, I think I'm gonna step into Wax. I mean, this is hitting me right now. I'm doing some research, see how I find things. I'm going to step into some Wax. Okay, so I like Wax at this price. It's just real flat, just dead. People don't like it right now. It's a great project. So that's my outlook on Wax. Let's see if we got any more Wax. So for sure, stepping into that. Well, not for sure. I mean, that's my intention. It's funny because Wax has been having some weird price action too, I think. Let's take a look at the monthly. See, this right here was kind of weird. So it shot up and then it retraced. So, but now that it's retraced, I mean, it's safer than buying it right here, right? Like, what you don't want to do is it shoot up and then be like, oh my gosh, I got to get Wax before it goes to the moon. Because anytime you're seeing any of these sudden shots, it's not a good time to jump in. Like, this is not a good time to jump into these coins when it starts shooting up. Nothing that's shooting up is the time to buy in. You want to buy in when it's flat like that. We're looking for flat stuff or stuff on a downtrend. The thing with the downtrend is we don't know how far it's retracing. Like, Icon might not have hit the bottom yet, but it could be close. I would say at this price range it's getting close, but we'll see. Depends on how overvalued it is, right? Let's see, Oyster. Telcoin. Too much hype around Telcoin. I'm going to have to pass on that. Although I think the hype has calmed. I'm liking this Ubic. The thing I don't like about this one is the exchanges. It hasn't been on a quality exchange. I mean, that's the downfall to this one. Wax had that problem before too, but it didn't affect the price, but it affected my opinion on it. So, this deep brain chain, you know, it's just keeps peeling back, and even I'm kind of down and out on deep brain chain. Like I'm kind of like, wow, what is going on with this thing? But I should, in my mind, back in the back of my head, I'm like, that's when you step in. See, this is so it's even challenging for me, even though I know through experience what to look for. Like simple token sitting here at 23 cents, just absolutely slaughtered. It's a slaughterhouse. I should be considering jumping in the simple token, but I already hold still a bunch of simple tokens. And if we keep going, you know, the Trinity network had a lot of momentum, and it might have lost some of that momentum here. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just trying to go through this, sharing thoughts with you guys. I think this Q-Link is undervalued. So I think this one's something that's on my radar also. I mean, it's got such a low market cap, and it's, you know, it's in the mobile sector. I just don't understand how the mobile sector isn't. I mean, the mobile sector is one of the most fertile arenas in the world right now. And especially with the blockchain. When mobile beats blockchain, that's why Altcoin, Dent. Let's see what Dent's at. It's just, there's a need for innovation, not just in the tech side of it, satellites and communications, although there is innovation for that. There's a need for structure and governance in mobile. Ooh, Dent. That's a high market cap, though. It's held its value's pretty decent. I mean, if Dent was getting slaughtered, like down at this level, then I'd see. The thing with Dent is it's really kind of held its value, in my opinion, especially at this market cap. So it's not, like, Q-Link's in a better position, I think, as a buy than Dent right now. So that's my take on it. Yeah. SafeX. See, Datum. Let me take a look at Datum here. Yeah, see. Wow. Okay, so it's on KuCoin. Let's take a look at Datum here. So many, there's just becoming so many, see, at first, these guys were one of the first data people, and then now just many data ICOs came about following in these guys' footsteps, and it's kind of taken their thunder. So now they're going to have to really deliver something special. They're going to have to show that everything that they said they're going to do, they're going to do it. So they're going to have to deliver on their roadmap, because the data on the blockchain is a competitive space. It's becoming very competitive. So assuming these guys are working very diligently and focused, it could end up being a fantastic buying opportunity at Datum, with Datum at 4 cents here. And look at that market cap, $36 million. But like I said, I mean, so many of these new coins that came out, I mean, if we just look at these recently added, right? I mean, we went over Daddy, that's a data, you know, a lot of data, big data. The key, WePower obviously isn't, but Luzel. Another one that kind of caught my eye. Let's take a look here. This was something that was catching my eye when it was an ICO. 9 cents, sitting at 4 cents. Swissborg. Interesting. Okay, guys. Well, anyways, this is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. Thanks to everyone who's been commenting on these videos, because I have been reading them. So, yes, I have been seeing some of the trolls and seeing what they've been writing, even on YouTube comments. It's funny because a lot of the trolls, you know, they hide behind crazy names like and no profile picture. So they just go anonymous and they just feel like they can just trash whatever they want. It's cool. It's your style, bro. It's your style. It's how you roll. Altcoin Buzz IO. So keep up with us over here if you want to have a voice, because we're giving people on Twitter a voice. And like I said, subscribe to this channel if you like videos like this, and turn on the bell to get notified. See you guys next time.